Welcome to Thriving Thursday. I am so excited to be here with you guys today. I am Rashida Hatchett, a registered nurse and resilience strategist, and we are going to dig into checking the culture. We're going to talk today about how nurses are being asked to be more resilient, but nurses already are resilient. So, what's really the issue? Stay tuned as we dig in. Thank you all so much for being here with me. We are going to talk about what's happening for nurses, what's showing up for them, and what they're being asked to do as we're navigating this really uncharted territory. So, what's happening? Well, the first thing is that nurses are being asked to increase their resilience. They're being told that they need to have more resilience, that they're just not as resilient as they could be. And because of that, that's the reason that things aren't really going the way that they want them to go. They're not really able to bounce back from the adversity that's challenging them right now. And I say that probably there's some to do with that. There certainly may be some nurses that their personal resilience factors aren't where they should be, that things that personally they can control, they need a little help in those areas. Certainly that could be the case, that there are some nurses that do need to increase their personal resilience. But that's kind of a cop-out when it comes from the healthcare organization. When on an organizational level, the only thing that's being given to nurses in this time are classes on how they can increase their personal resilience. What's not happening is organizations taking responsibility that who's really not resilient in this equation is our healthcare system. Our healthcare system is currently falling apart. We are losing nurses, doctors, respiratory therapists, physical therapists at exponentially high rates. We're looking at moving into models that are really travel nurse based. We're watching as healthcare systems, rather than taking care of the nurses they have, are bringing in nurses from other countries, from other places to say, hey, come in and work because our nurses aren't able. That doesn't really fix the problem. Now, we know that healthcare is organized chaos, I call it. You're working in the hospital and you don't really know what you're going to get from day to day. From one day to the next, from 1 hour to the next, from 1 minute to the next, things change and they shift, and patient statuses change, and what's needed changes, and your available team members change as people are getting floated from one unit to the other. It's organized chaos. We figured out a way to work in a space that's relatively chaotic on a regular basis. But that leads to burnout, and it leads to losing the team members that you have because they're not able to overcome from the burnout because the organization in itself hasn't made any change to create a space of burnout recovery. What we know is you can't recover from burnout if you're continuing to be in the same situation that caused the burnout. So as we're watching healthcare systems put all of these Band-Aids on what's happening, offering $40,000 sign-on bonuses, but nurses still aren't able to take rest breaks. Bringing in travel nurses to cover the gaps in team members that we have. But nurses still aren't able to take their vacation time. Bringing in all of these extra monetary things rather than looking at what nurses are really asking for. They're really asking for a change in the way that we work, simply because it's not working. The way that we currently work isn't working. Nurses were burnt out pre-pandemic. They were suffering pre-pandemic. There are many things that still have not changed and have exacerbated during the pandemic. Assaults on nurses from patients, from patient family members, nurse to nurse bullying, provider to nurse bullying, toxic cultures that perpetuate multiple stereotypes, not being able to advocate for their patients in a way that feels good to them because there's a lack of an understanding around bias and racism. Nurses have been working in these untenable conditions for decades. Right now, you get to hear it mostly because nurses have been strewn into the forefront. We're on TV, we're on radio, we're right here on LinkedIn, we're on Facebook. We're taking over social media to talk about what's happening and what's showing up for us. And in that, our voices are being heard. And nurses are taking the time to say the things that we've been saying within our healthcare system for decades that's gone unheard. So what does your organization really need? Well, healthcare needs an overhaul. The way that we work needs to shift. The things that aren't working to promote self-care, the things that aren't working to promote wellness, the things that aren't working to promote stability need to change. And the way that we do that is from the inside out. From within healthcare, we create the change that's needed to provide an environment for our healthcare team, for our nurses, that lets them know that not only do we need them, but that we appreciate them. I did a survey over the last couple of weeks and asked nurses, what is it that you need right now? What's the number one thing you need right now? And more than 40% of the people that answered said appreciation. I go to work and I don't feel appreciated. I work every day to save people's lives, the very most admirable thing that you can do. And I don't feel that my healthcare system appreciates me. I still find myself in this place of wondering, do you even care if I'm here? If we continue to put band-aids on what's happening rather than fixing the root of the problem, we're going to continue to lose our healthcare team. Healthcare as we know it is going to change, and not for the better. Nurses deserve to feel appreciated. Healthcare teams deserve to come into their job and to feel as though they are not just a number, to feel as though their unique skill set has earned them a place at the table, and not that anybody could do this. If you don't want to do it, we'll find someone else. I haven't met one nurse yet that said, I don't want to nurse anymore. I don't want to care for people anymore. Everyone that I've talked to said, I can't bear the conditions anymore. I can't remain in the same place anymore. That's what nurses are asking for. They're asking to change the conditions around the way that we work. They're asking for appreciation. They're asking to feel valued, not only by their healthcare system, by their patients as well. They're asking for the world to value the sacrifice they make, the time that they're away from their own families to care for yours, the excellent work that they do to keep our CEOs, CFOs, VPs looking good on the front side of the organization. They're asking for real change, innovative ways to create the kind of culture that fosters resilience, that fosters being able to move forward and grow. They're asking for their leaders to have leadership training. They're asking for their leaders to have support from the C-suite. They're asking for the C-suite to come down and look at the work that they're doing before they make decisions on what's supposed to happen on the floor when they don't really know what's going on the floor because they're not there. They're asking to revamp the way that we do shift work. They're asking for work-life harmony. They want to take their vacation. They want to be with their families. They want a salary that makes sense given what the overall profit is of the organization. They're asking for you to check the culture. For more tips, strategies, and help to move your organization forward, connect with me. You can find me at rashidahatchettmedia.com. This has been Checking the Culture on this Thriving Thursday. I will see you all back here next week, same time. Have a wonderful rest of your week. And don't forget, check the culture.